And we're super excited for our next guest that we're bringing on right now. Pet nutrition, pet welfare is of the utmost importance. This is a fantastic company doing a lot of great work. And we have the folks from Evangers that are joining us live on the Pet Streamathon. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're so honored to have you on the show. You guys are what I would call and what most people would consider an essential pet service. I mean, our pets, at least mine anyway, most of the time eat better than I do. And certainly that's probably the case right now during the pandemic. We are having a little bit of a low audio on our end. Is there a way that you guys can project so that we can make sure that it's carrying through the broadcast?
Well, can you hear us now?
Yeah, that's great. That's perfect.
We weren't talking. That's why it was such a low audio.
So introduce yourselves for our viewers. Who do we have with you with your team? Again, these are the folks from Evangers, bringing you high quality nutrition and an essential daily diet for your pets. And you guys are the experts, so I'm certainly going to let you share your wealth of knowledge with the viewers. We're calling this Yappy Hour. It's the perfect timing. It's right around dinner time for a lot of people's pets out there.
Okay, so I own Evangers. But it really is a family business, and we are a manufacturer. My name is Holly Scherer. This is Joel Scherer sitting next to me. Chelsea Scherer is here. She is a twin that works in the plant, and my quality control engineer is somewhere around here. And there's a whole bunch of family that's working here, but they're probably in the plant. But we manufacture the food, so we are essential. So that's good news. We get to go to work every day. We're working actually longer hours because there's only, like I said, a couple of us that actually manufacture the food. We private label for people. So when you go to the stores, you might be buying our brand, or you might be buying a brand that we make, or you might be just buying marketing. But anyway, so I'm here to help support all the boutiques that we sell through. We need the boutiques. They educate the consumer. Actually, we love our boutiques, and we send people to the boutiques to buy our food. Joel is really the expert on how we come up with our ingredients and what we use in our food. And Chelsea here is in charge of marketing. And there's a lot of there's so many family members that everybody wears we all wear about 20 hats. So I'll let Joel start. And if you have any questions, please ask, because we don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely. So I wanted to give a shout out real quick. They weren't able to join you on the program, but they are great friends of yours and also huge supporters of the brand, and a friend of mine personally as well. Preston, that pesky little Westy, I think he's watching right now, even though his parents aren't able to join us on the program. So Preston, if you're out there, we hope you're enjoying this program and this Yappy Hour. We know you're a big fan of Evangers. That's Preston with PrestonSpeaks.com. Rachel and Brad are great people, and they've been huge supporters as well. So a big shout out to them. I know they're trying to tune in right now. And
I'm to our plant.
Yeah, we were recently able to host them in Chicago, and I felt bad because it was so cold out. We were all bundled up, but Preston has been here. He actually participated in the quality control process with us. It was really adorable, and he did a lot of taste testing as well.
He's a picky dog, which is good too.
Unless you have bacon. If you have bacon, it's over.
We do a beef and bacon.
That's probably his favorite brand, honestly. Well, I'm excited to learn all about Evangers, so I'll let you guys take it away. And I'm here, and I'm more than happy to jump in with any questions that I see come online. I'll be along with you for the presentation, but the floor is yours.
Okay, let's start with canned food, because if you ask a manufacturer, us, we'll tell you if you can afford it, Canway is the way to go. So go ahead, Joe.
Well, of course, we're happy to be here to support the brick and mortar stores, which is really the base of our our operation. You know, our most of our distribution goes through the independent stores. You know, we're not really in Petco and PetSmart or anything like that, but because for what Holly said, you know, the independents seem to be able to interact more with the customers and give them more information, and maybe they're more informed. And that's what we really kind of predicate our part of the business on. As Holly may have indicated, our strong point is really the cans. So we're big on the canning side of it. We have our own line. We have the dry food and treats and everything else. But what we really get into is the cans. And we've been manufacturing for 85 years cans of dog food, dog and cat food. So what I like to let you know is that of the companies that do manufacture pet foods, I think we're the most innovative. Maybe because of me, but and that's probably a derivative of getting into the business about 20 years ago. Although my background was my family and I supplied Evangers with raw materials, so I didn't know anything about manufacturing. But about 20 years ago, we got the opportunity to purchase Evangers. Again, I didn't know how to make pet food, but that might have been a good thing, because what that led to was not probably being trained in things that this is how you do it. It was more like, why can't I do things? And that's probably how we wound up innovating many of our very innovative products, which I'm going to show you very as quickly as I can, just to give you an idea. But there's so many products that obviously we're not going to be able to do it in this show, but just to give you a general idea, what I'd like to do as quickly as I can. One of our is the I have the thighs here. Like, for example, we do something, a hand pack product, and I think we're the only ones that do hand packing, where it's basically you take the actual ingredient and put it into the can by hand. And the reason you want to do that is because it's so minimally processed. It's people food into the can, and the can itself is the preservation system. So there's no preservatives in canning. It's perfectly safe. I mean, it's sterilized, so you can never have like a recall from something like salmonella or listeria if a can has been processed properly, and we do, of course, process them properly. So you're never gonna have a recall for anything like that in a can of food. So, you know, again, it's as safe as you can possibly be. So what I'm going to do is, and these photos on our cans generally are the actual photos of the actual product, as opposed to making a pretty picture and, you know, having photographers and then say, well, yeah, we have chicken in there, so here's a picture of a chicken. This is chicken first, but this is the actual product. So what I'm going to do is just open this as quick as I can. I'm going to point this down while I do it, just so that you can actually see the product. So you can see the bowl there. All right, so I'm going to open this can up. Just for the way everything looks, there is natural broth that's, because the food is cooked in the can. All foods are cooked in the cans. As an example, we're going to put in this case, the chicken thigh in the can, and we're going to seal it, and then it's going to be cooked. And by the way, we don't really heat it for the purpose of cooking it. We're heating it for the purpose of sterilization and safety. So what I'm going to do is just pour this broth off to the side, which has a lot of nutrition in it and a lot of taste, but just for the purposes of visual, I'm going to put it to the side so you can see the actual product.
So something that we're seeing a lot of and we love is bone broths that are available, but what we're not seeing, and we would love to see more of, is meat and bone broths. So what does that mean for the people at home? A bone broth is great because it does have the calcium in the marrow that comes from the bone itself, but it doesn't have the chondroitin and the glucosamine. And and most important, it doesn't have the flavor. So if you think about it, like if you go to a restaurant and you order a bone-in steak, is that bone-in steak going to be more tasty or less tasty as opposed to a steak without the bone in it? So obviously it'll be more flavorful. That's what you love. That's what your pets are going to love. So the meat and bone together to make that broth is what really makes things more tasty for our pets.
And on taste, I mean, you can't beat our products on the taste. Again, once your pet tries it, you're pretty much stuck with buying an Evanger product. Well, here is the actual chicken thigh. Here's the actual chicken thigh that I just took out of the can. Now, our product actually includes the whole chicken thigh, which would actually include the chicken bone. You know, we get a lot of comments about that because people are concerned, saying that cooked chicken bones may, it may be harmful for your pet. But what we've been able to do is cook it in such a way that these bones are basically disappear. I mean, it's gone. It's so soft, aside from nutrition, but the safety and the softness is 100% there. So, you know, it's a very unusual, if you will, unusual product that typically, like, we like to do things that people say you can't do. We like to do them, and that makes it more interesting for us. It's a little bit harder, but you know, that's where we get a lot of our satisfaction doing things like this. You know, in the canning, you know, Chelsea mentioned the chondroitin and glucosamine and things like that. I mean, this is all the natural vitamins and minerals and benefits when you go into a can that you really can't get it all from, let's say, a dry food or something that's highly processed. This is minimally processed, and aside from the flavor and the nutrition, you know, there's no preservatives. The canning is preservative system, and we just enjoy doing these kinds of products and bring them to the market and seeing the reaction of the pets and, of course, the pet owners. And that's really where we get our sales from. It's really word of mouth and things like that. But once you actually stumble across our product, you know, you're a customer. So that's what we like to see, and that's how we like to build our business. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about a couple other products. I know I only got a few minutes, but that are the most innovative, again, in the industry. So,
and I'm going to talk about canned food in general, because we know that most people, and I would say actually 80% of people, just feed kibble, and that's okay. But we encourage, if you can feed canned food, we kibble. This is standard for most households. This is most economical for most households, and maybe most convenient for most households. But if you're able to feed canned food, then we always recommend it for the things that my dad mentioned, the nutritional benefits. That nutrition is really locked in the can, and you can seal in the nutrients at the moment of pinnacle freshness by canning a product. And your pet is obviously going to enjoy it. I know when we're at home and our pets are around and we have our food on the plate, the pets always want to come and eat off of our food. So canned food is essentially like home cooking for pets, but it's a very safe option so that you're getting the vitamins and the minerals.
I do want to add that we do sell more dry food. We do sell more dry food than we sell cans, but that's just the nature of the consumer. But we're here to educate, and that's what this program is about, education. And when you call us, we try to educate, and that's why we are stressing the importance of canned food, because you love your pet, it brings you happiness, but no one really thinks about the health and well-being and what you feed your dog. You might think you're doing the right thing because you really don't know. So we do canned food for allergies, for weight control, for struvite crystals. There's a whole variety of reasons why canned food is more beneficial than dry. One thing is for overweight and allergies, and even pancreatitis. We recommend the vegetarian. We know dogs, and especially cats, are not vegetarians, but there's a purpose for why we do this.
So I will talk about in a minute. And by the way, what Holly was saying about the cost and the reason that there's maybe more dry food, maybe it's kind of thought of that it's maybe cheaper and to feed dry food and more convenient. It may be more convenient, but it may not be cheaper, because the amount of nutritional absorption from a canned food versus a dry food, there's much more nutritional absorption in a canned food because of the moisture content. So these products are easily absorbed into your pet or a human's system when it's already hydrated. If you consume, or your pet consumes, something that's dried down to about 5% moisture, before you can start absorbing the nutrition, your system has to rehydrate. And you probably can't rehydrate it as quickly as it's going through your system. So a lot of it is just going out the back end, and it hasn't been used. So, you know, you're sort of wasting money. So you're getting a bigger bang for your buck per ounce or per pound for a product that's already either canned or even raw. We don't do raw, but we feel this is a lot safer than raw. I mean, most of our products are the same as raw, other than the fact that it's put into the can and preserved. But it is a raw food. Other than the can, it's been it's safer and it's been preserved. So not with a preservative, just the process itself. So in any event, Holly mentioned this vegetarian, which we're really excited about. I'll get a little bit closer. It's called vegetarian side dish. Side dish is the important part, because really what you would want to do is add this to, like, for example, what I just showed you a moment ago was the chicken thigh, which is basically meat and all of the elements that are associated with the protein, some fat, which is good, and all of the other, just protein nutritional elements. Well, this is sort of like your little pyramid when you went to school. This are all the other ingredients that you want to eat in conjunction with that to get all of your little pyramid of vitamins and minerals. So, this is in a lot of areas in the world, in the United States, the #1 selling product of Evangers. We made it about 18 years ago, developed about 18 years ago, and it's just been growing every year over year. Unlike some other foods or dry foods, all of the ingredients that you see on this label, we only use fresh ingredients. And I can give you the ingredient list on this, which I'm reading right from the back panel. And these are all fresh ingredients. There's nothing dry, dehydrated, processed, pre-processed, or anything. We just get them in as we manufacture food right from either a farm, which the main ingredient in this is sweet potatoes, and that comes in every week from a farm down in Mississippi, down to the the blueberries and the cranberries and the peas that we get from the local distributor of fruits and vegetables, who really does all of the grocery stores and all of the restaurants. That's their main business. So this is all, people food for your pet. So let me give you the ingredient list very quickly for this product. This is sweet potato, white potato, little brown rice, fresh carrot, fresh tomatoes, organic olive oil, peas, fresh blueberries, fresh cranberries. We do have a dry egg in there, but that's for the protein. Some brewer's yeast, vegetable oil for your the oil content, and of course taurine, because being that it is, and then there's vitamins and minerals. Being that it doesn't have a meat in it, your taurine is natural in the meat products. So that's really important for cats, and it's important for dogs, but more important for cats. But so this is supplemented with taurine because there's no other way to get it in there.
So you mentioned sweet potatoes are one of the big components of this formula. So I want to touch on that a little bit, because while people have been at home more often with their pets are maybe eating a lot more than they normally would, maybe on stranger schedules for feeding. So we've been seeing a lot of upset tummies and a lot of pancreatitis flare-ups while people have been isolated in their homes. So the question is, what do you do for something like that? And there is a misconception that I kind of want to talk about, and that is people think that pumpkin is really the go-to product if you have a pet at home with an upset tummy. But really, sweet potato is the go-to. And the active ingredient in sweet potato is fiber. And sweet potatoes are so much more fibrous than pumpkin is. So if you're dealing with that while you're at home with your pets, and something with sweet potato in it is really going to be calming and is really going to have the calories and help bind things up and help you avoid loose stool at home as well.
Another problem of being home too much with your pet is you overfeed your pet like everybody would, and you tend to give a lot more treats. So what you can do on the vegetarian, and this is what I did with my dog, is I freeze them like in an ice cube tray, and then I just pull it out so I can give a non-fattening treat to my dog. Or we also have treats that are 6 calories that we have. and you can break it down so they don't get as many calories. There's so many options. That's what Evangers is all about. Options and more options. Problem, solution. And of course, if your dog has a predisposition and you know that this breed has a predisposition, we have foods for that.
Yeah.
Is there any questions? Because we only have a couple more minutes and we could go on for hours.
Well, I was looking to see in the comments if there were any questions. So if any of our viewers out there have questions for our Evangers team, go ahead and put them in the comment section on the thread that you're watching. I did get confirmation that the parents are away, but Preston is watching this. And Preston says that, well, one, he says woof to everyone. He misses his Evangers team. And it also said that he likes the big hunks of meat that's in his bowl whenever he eats.
Oh, that's, if you're trying to Joe, you can open.
So that product, that's great for everybody at home. My dad actually invented that for our own dog, Yukon, because like I mentioned before, when you have a steak at home and you're eating it, your dog is just sitting there waiting and wanting your plate and not what's in his dish. And that drove my dad nuts. So he took these whole hunks of meat and put them in the can by hand, which is actually how we developed this entire hand-packed line, just so that our dog would love what he was eating just as much as we were. And every mealtime for us and for everybody watching probably is a bonding experience with your pet. Giving them food gives them a lot of pleasure. So you want to make sure you're giving them the best that you can give them because it makes you feel good and it definitely makes them feel good. So the hunk of beef is the product that we did to make our own dogs feel awesome. And it's one of our best sellers. Thanks, Preston.
I think he's your biggest fan.
Oh, we're huge fans too.
Now, you guys did mention a little bit about, obviously, you're here to support the pet retailers, the boutiques. And I know from you and I talking before, Holly, that there were some of your the companies that work with you that we're having some issues as a result of the pandemic. So, talk a little bit about what you're hearing from them, how it's impacting their businesses, and then also, how it's impacted your business. Like, has manufacturing been affected at all, or has that, changed how you're doing business at all?
A little bit. What I could tell you, what we're experiencing here is we're working harder and longer hours. We had to hire more people. Like I said in the beginning, there's only a handful of us that manufacture canned food, a little bit more on the dry and a little bit more of that and the treats. So we are okay. Our specialty is, even though we make treats and we're a cannery, is cans because it lasts forever. So in the raw ingredients, I'm knocking on whatever this is. We haven't had a problem yet. So all is good today. We don't know about Monday, but all is good. I hear from other people that beef production is down 25%, pork is down 15%, and chicken is down 5 to 10%. But we deal more with the middle of the companies and not the super large ones. So right now, knocking on wood again, we're good.
Yeah, that could be the potential down the road, keep your eye on sort of thing. I mean, most of our raw material, because this is my background, again, before we bought Evangers, we were supplying it with raw materials. So, and my father was in the meat, he had a wholesale meat company in the Fulton Market area of Chicago, and I was raised there. So really going back 50 years, a lot of the suppliers that we have right now are relationships that go back over 50 years. So, and so these are the suppliers that we have for Evangers, which is really 90% of suppliers are local within 30 or 40 miles of our plant. So, what we do read about in the paper right now are these huge, Tysons and things like that are close. They have thousands of people working there. And then the coronavirus is going through the plant. They have to shut it down. Fortunately, for us, our suppliers are the smaller processors in this area, and we actually go and we pick it up ourselves every day with our own refrigerated truck and come back. Yeah, it's down a little bit, but for the moment they're all holding their own. I mean, I don't know, what I could do for them, but a lot of their business, of course, was the restaurants. So that portion of their production is down. Hopefully, it's going to start coming back. But for the moment, they've been able to supply us everything we need. And I think that'll continue. I think coming Monday, some of the restaurants are going to start to open. Hopefully the processors start to manufacture for them. Hopefully the Tysons of the world can produce to supply our processors. It's a whole chain, you know, like I say, it's the chain. So keeping our fingers crossed, I think we're sort of you couldn't have stretched it much further than it's been. So, but I think as of May 1st, that's what they're talking about, that they're going to start opening up some of these places, and hopefully the whole process starts again and gets back to where we were. But for the moment, we've been fine as far as production.
And Ethan, you asked about retailers. So this has been a really trying time for our retailers. Right. And it kind of runs the gamut. Some are able to offer curbside delivery and home delivery. And that has really helped a lot of retailers. And interestingly, that has brought a lot of people from the online world into, not technically indoors, but to brick and mortar stores and independents. So, but it's been fluctuating. So we've been seeing an increase of curbside delivery and home delivery. And that has been amazing because we get so many calls every single day with people who are buying our food or for some reason can't buy our food, or they're in a rural area. Now what do they do? And we're so grateful that we can now offer new options to them via home delivery and curbside delivery.
Well, real quick before we sign off, I want to thank you guys for your time. Your team's been incredible to work with. It's an excellent brand. It's a family brand. Very informative talk. I wish I knew that much about pet food, but I definitely learned a lot. We did get confirmation from Preston that we were right on his favorite flavor. It is the beef and bacon. I know Preston pretty well, so that was a safe assumption. And Preston, thanks for watching. We won't tell your parents that you tuned in while they were gone. It was a pet party. He couldn't miss Yappy Hour. And
he never does.
That's right. And he says when this is all over, he's going to have to come back for another visit. It's overdue. And then Vicky Page Atkinson, she commented that Evangers is by far my best-selling canned dog food, and the Evangers team is so helpful and supportive of my small pet shop. I'm a big fan. So I just wanted to give you that testimonial that was in our comment section. I think you were just so thorough that they didn't have any questions.
Let's say that's what it is. Yeah, maybe being in the industry for a combined.
No, don't you dare.
Lots of generations. But we can go with dog years.
Well, it sounds fine to know, Vicky, that you're supporting us, and of course we're supporting you. I mean, that's what we do. I don't get to talk to the store owners or even consumers very often, but get the feedback like that, it's more than satisfying. So
absolutely. Well,
I wanted to say quickly, my dad's passion is really making food for the pets at home. So when he hears something like that, he's like, not that he can retire, but it's like it's a very happy day for him. well, for all of us, really.
That's right. That's right. Well, I really appreciate your time. This has been great. Thank you so much. And I wish you all the best. And I think after this, my pets are going to be eating better as well, because I think they would really enjoy the Evangers brand. So I'm a huge fan.
And we want to say thanks for putting this together for the independent retailers and the rescues. It's amazing. That's really what the country needs right now. Well,
we couldn't do it without you, but thank you for that. And that was the team from Evangers Pet Food. You can check them out. Actually, I didn't ask you, where can people find out more information? I know they're wanting to know.
Sure. Evangerspetfood.com. Evangerspetfood.com. We have a store locator, so you can find any store near you that carries our products. And I'll, of course, have the product information on there as well.
Wonderful. Well, you all enjoy your evening. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
We have a lot of great programming coming up in just a bit, so don't miss that. But first, before we go to our next guest, we do have a couple of messages from our sponsors. We're going to bring you a few minutes of programming for your pet, courtesy of Mirage Pet Products.